What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Alex, joined today by my co-host, Ryan. What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. This warm weather's not doing it for me anymore. I need like 40s and 50s in October. It's this like 60s get into the 70s is just not it anymore.
Bro,
We're almost in November. I need some chilly weather.
I think it was Thursday in Christiansburg. It was 84 degrees when I was at work.
Yeah, see that's
Like, what
we're
is
like leaking into like global warming is real and we're turning into like a Florida climate and it's not okay with me.
1,000%? 1,000%. So we have some actually pretty big news this week. Sorry we didn't record last week, scheduling issues, but we're back. And a lot of news has happened recently, and I'm going to let Ryan take over and get into that if he'd like to.
Yeah, trying to figure out where the best place to start is. I guess the best place right now would be uh after I think it's after the week 5 loss.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons released or fired, I should say, head coach Dan Quinn. I think they also fired their GM.
It was both.
Which, honestly, like this move should have came after week 5 of last year. Like I don't think Dan Quinn should have ever been able to start this season. Like he hasn't been good with Atlanta since they went to the Super Bowl in 2016.
No, he hasn't been good since Kyle Shanahan left.
Yeah, honestly. Um, I don't know. I thought this was a great move, and I don't know the name of their coordinator that took over as interim, but he seemed to do a really good job against the Minnesota Vikings this weekend, but we'll talk about that later.
His name is.
I know Romeo Crennel took over for the Texans. I just can't remember this guy's name. I think it was a defensive player. What'd you say?
Raheem Morris.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I believe he was.
As you say that,
I
yeah.
want to say he was their defensive coordinator.
I think he was too.
But yeah, I actually look at this Falcons team as a team that should really blow things up and trade Julio and just get rid of your because they have a pretty good young core. If they were to just blow it up, get assets, and rebuild in the draft, because I feel like at this point you're holding on to 2014, 2015 with Ryan with Ryan and Julio and Todd Gurley. Like, granted, Todd Gurley's 25, but come on, he's an old 25. So I don't see why you wouldn't try and trade. Well, that's good. Las Vegas and the Saints don't have any more positive cases, so it looks like both of their games are going to happen this week. So that's great. But like I was saying, I don't see why you wouldn't just try and gather assets, especially in a draft like this, because there are quarterback prospects. Like Atlanta's really bad, and if they traded Matt Ryan and Julio, they could probably not get Trevor Lawrence because that's the Jets pick. But like you could get somebody like Justin Fields or Trey Lance and rebuild that Atlanta team. But I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. They're very –
Do you know how many years Ryan has on his contract? He's
I
only got 2 or 3 left.
think it's 2. Let me look.
See, if it's only 2 years, this is what I would do. I would actually keep Julio and Calvin Ridley, but I would trade guys like Takk McKinley, Ricardo Allen, Keanu Neal. I'd blow up the defense.
Oh, crap. So
How many years is there left?
In 2018, he signed a 5-year, $150 million contract. So he has 3 years left. Well, this would be 2 years after this year.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'd trade Matt Ryan. That's not a contract you want to keep when you're like transitioning.
The problem is who's going to trade for him.
Yeah, because he's like north of 30, right?
He's 35.
Oh, I did not know he was that old.
Me neither.
It would be weird seeing Julio and Matt Ryan play somewhere else, though.
Well, I was listening to another podcast, and they said, how do you feel about Julio being traded to the Baltimore Ravens? And I was like, that actually would be terrifying for the league, but also very nice for Julio.
See, I heard rumors of Julio to the Pats.
I think the Pats are not going to do what they've done in the past where it's like, hey, we're going to trade for these veteran players. I think they are going to rebuild. I think they
Right.
realize how terrible this team is. Julian Edelman needs to retire. He looks awful, or he's hurt. Something's wrong with him. And they just have no young wide receivers. Like they can't. Although here's the problem: the Patriots can never draft.
Yeah, they're horrible at drafting.
They're terrible at drafting.
That's because like Bill Belichick takes like linebackers from like Missouri Western State who like had like 3 good tackles in their career, and he's like, I can change this
I
guy.
mean, like even Edelman, they drafted him as a quarterback and then switched him to a corner and then switched him to a wide receiver. So like, I don't know, but yeah. So Atlanta fired their head coach, and then we have the Jets were trying to trade Le'Veon, but then nobody wanted him, so then they ended up releasing him. And there were rumors that he was going to go to the Bills, and I know Ryan was like, kind of. I don't know how you were feeling about that.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like the coolest like day and a half that I ever had because it was like, oh my god, like Le'Veon Bell is considering going to Buffalo. Like that's just cool. Like RB1 status, like let's go. Especially because our run game has sucked big butt. But yeah, Le'Veon was choosing between the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Chiefs, and you know, I think he made the best decision because he was trying to like find the happy medium of like getting a lot of playing time and also winning a ring, and I think he chose his best option.
I agree. Although I think if he came to Buffalo, basically bench Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, he would have instantly became the starter. I think Zach Moss, in my opinion, is looking more and more like Eddie Lacy.
He's been very disappointing, but he has only played in 3 games. Though.
And Devin Singletary is just tiny. He's Darren Sproles, but for Buffalo. So
I will say in their defense, it is so weird because we built our offensive line to protect Josh. Our pass blocking is ridiculously good. Our run blocking is like one of the worst in the league. It makes no sense.
well,
But
that and the defense has regressed immensely, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. More news. What else do we have? Falcons, Le'Veon. Oh,
Antonio Brown signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night. I think he has 2 weeks left on his suspension, and then he'll be on the field with.
I think he can come back week 8.
Is it after week 8 though, or like
after
week 8?
Yeah, so he can officially be on like active rosters. I think week 9.
Gotcha.
Is it bad that I don't care? I feel like this isn't.
No.
I feel like if anything, this is going to ruin that team. Like, granted, I understand that Antonio Brown's really good at football, but you're going to have so many weapons now that attitudes are going to start arising. People are going to get frustrated with not getting enough touches. I mean, how's AB feel about being the 3rd option on a team?
And that's like being nice if like you like move Gronk down to 4th. Like
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, it's
Also,
I
I
don't
just
know.
don't think Tom Brady has it anymore. But
Yeah, it's like this team would have been like absolutely like elite 5 years ago.
oh my God, they'd be like an all-star team. Are you kidding me? Not Le'Veon. Leonard Fournette, his rookie season. Antonio Brown, prime Antonio Brown, prime Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, that would have been in high school probably. Prime Gronk. Like, yeah, they'd be disgusting. But I don't know. I think that division's a lot closer than everybody thinks. I think the
Definitely.
Saints are done. I don't see there's any. I don't think the Saints win this weekend without their 2 starting wide receivers, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I think they're done. I think the Bucks probably win this division, but I think they win it at like 9-7 or 10-6. Like I don't think they win it by a landslide. But yeah. So Antonio Brown signs with the Bucks. Like I said, I'm not really that worried, mostly because by the time he even gets integrated in the offense, it's going to be week 10 or week 11. So they're really getting him for a playoff push, basically.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you on the Saints, and I definitely think that, everyone kind of just blew by the Panthers because they look like they're rebuilding. But I'm telling you, man, like sometimes rebuilding teams can make the playoff push. The Bills did it in 2017, and I think the Panthers can do it in 2020.
I mean, by playoff push, make the wild card and probably lose in the wild card round. But yes, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Like I was telling Ryan before we started recording, if I would have said that the Panthers were 1 game away from the Bills by week 7, he would have been like, "There's no shot." Well, they are. So,
They've been a good surprise.
a little bit of trade news. We had Yannick Ngakoue getting traded to the Baltimore Ravens for a 3rd and a 5th-round pick. They got him on an absolute steal. I think the guy's only 25, and he's under contract because he signed a new contract with Minnesota. There was a team-friendly deal, so they get him for cheaper than he probably would have signed as a free agent. So now they have Calais Campbell, Matthew Judon, and Yannick Ngakoue. Their defense is literally going to carry them in the playoffs because the guy that we all called MVP last year, which is well deserved, looks like not a great quarterback this year. So
Where did he go? Like Lamar has been like non-existent this year.
people figured out how to not let him run all over the place and actually make him throw, and he's not a good passer.
That's just more proof to me that Russ should have won MVP last year.
Yeah. And he's probably – I mean, he's going to win it this year. So
Yeah. Josh Allen is no longer in that competition.
Yeah, neither is Kyle Allen. I mean, not Kyle Allen, Kyler Murray. Do we have any other news before we get into last week?
Yeah, one more. The Miami Dolphins, this is their bye week, and they also announced earlier this week that they are benching Ryan Fitzpatrick for rookie quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. To me, this is just bad for morale. I think Tua should be starting because, like you draft a quarterback that high, you want to see what you got. But, like, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing, like, some of the best football of his career. Like, the Dolphins have won 2 straight off of, like, ridiculously convincing wins, like, against the 49ers and the Jets. But, like, still, like, you're on a win streak of 2 games. Like, what more can a quarterback do? And, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been taking it very hard. Like, he's come out to the media and said, like, this hurts. Like, I don't know what more I could have done. Like, is this – and he's pretty old, so he's like, is this the last time I'm going to be a starter? Like, what's the deal?
Okay.
How do you feel?
Well, here's what I'll say. One, I'm not impressed with the Dolphins. They've won games that they should have won. They beat the 49ers. Yeah, you won 43-17. So that's a big win. Although the 49ers were literally starting Nick Mullins, had no running backs, no wide receivers. They were the most injured team in football when you played them week 5. Then you beat the Jets, which everyone's going to beat the Jets this year, and you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. So at this point, why? First of all, they also came out and said the plan was to start Tua after the bye week. So even if they were 6-0, it looked like they were probably going to start Tua. So I don't see why you wouldn't do it. Now, does he have a murderer's row of teams coming up? Yeah, because he plays at the Rams, the Cardinals, and then the Chargers. Those are pretty tough defenses. I think it would have made more sense to start Ryan Fitzpatrick for the next 3 weeks and have him come in week 11, which is against the Denver Broncos, because then you have the Broncos, Jets, Bengals, and then it gets a little bit tougher, but those are 3 easy games. I also think that it's just time. Like, I think there's a lot of pressure being put on them from how good Joe Burrow and Herbert are playing, because you're looking around, you're like, oh, shit, we spent a very high draft pick on Tua. We need to see what we have, especially with this next coming draft coming up. So I guess I think they're feeling a little bit of pressure to put Tua in. And I think also, here's the thing, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's only under contract until next year. So if you wanted him to mentor Tua as when Tua's the starter, you had to make this switch sometime this season.
It's
So
true.
now he's a better mentor for the next, like, 8 games. Wow, they have a really difficult schedule. Like, their last 3 games or last 4 games are Chiefs, Patriots, Raiders, and Bills.
Yeah, that's going to be like a swift, like, 1-4.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to struggle a lot, but I'm excited to see what we have in Tua. I mean, it definitely makes them national media news at this point, too. It just sucks for Fitzpatrick. Honestly, if I just demand a trade to the Jets and just live out the rest of the year.
Nah, man, he's got to go to the Patriots. He's got to complete AFC East bingo. But nah, if I'm in all seriousness, I hope Tua does really well. The Bills fan in me said that he's not going to make it to the Chargers game because he's going to get hurt because he's going to get sacked a ton. But that's only me being a jerk and not wanting the Dolphins to have anything nice. But we'll see if he's the real deal.
I mean, you know
Next
how I
weekend.
feel about Tua. I've literally hitched my entire wagon to Tua, so I need him to be good.
I know, man, but I don't know.
That's
We'll
a
see. I'm excited to have like a competent quarterback and
yeah,
like on all AFC East teams. Like I don't know.
it's exciting.
Next year will be fun.
Um, if you wanna just jump into week 6 now.
Yeah, we can. I'm
Recap.
done talking about news.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot
I
left.
know you could talk about Tua for about another half hour.
I mean, I could, but we're not gonna. So let's just go in order of what the NFL.com has. So the Bears beat the Panthers 23-16. Um, this was a real letdown for me. I really thought the Panthers could have got this done. And I think at this point, we kind of have to buy into the Bears a little bit. I mean, they're 5-1, and they've
Yeah,
looked really good, to be honest, especially on defense. Now, they have no running game, really, at all. Um, and I still think this is a team that could trade for a guy like AJ Green or uh, Jamison Crowder, somebody like that to help a little bit. Um, Other than that, man, the Bears are real. And with the Panthers, they still shocked me. But Teddy is, I thought he was the definition of consistent, but he's becoming more and more inconsistent to me. He threw 2 interceptions this game, literally one interception, which was a minute into the game that led to a 7-0 start um, within like 4 minutes of the game. So I think, again, like I've said all year, the Panthers are surprising. And I think getting a CMC back, hopefully week 9, will help a lot. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say about this game.
yeah. I'll follow you a little bit. The Bears have probably been my biggest surprise of the 2020 season. I did not expect them to do anything. I honestly, because I've always been so high on the Lions, I thought the Bears were going to be the worst team in this division. Um, so they've definitely surprised me, and I think you're right. They are for real. But I think, yeah, I think it comes down on Teddy's shoulders this game. They lost the turnover battle, and that's what killed them.
Yeah.
But they were, I mean, it was close the whole game, but in the end, the turnover battle is what lost the game.
Yeah. So up next, we got the Bengals. They lost to the Colts 31-27. I'll keep mine short. I think Joe Burrow is the real deal. I think this Colts team is literally being carried by their defense. They remind me of the Bears team that made the playoffs like 3 years ago when it was Khalil Mack and Mitch Trubisky, because Philip Rivers is terrible, and I don't understand why they. I mean, I do understand because they're paying him $25 million for 1 year, but if this team, I think they'd be better under Jacoby Brissett. I don't understand why Philip is still playing. It doesn't seem to me like he can throw the ball very far. Granted, he did have a great game. He had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, 371 yards. But still, I just don't understand.
Yeah, this game was a big indicator to me that the Colts are not anything special. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. They've got like the biggest question mark at quarterback because it's like they've got Philip Rivers on a really bad 1 year rental. Jacoby Brissett's a glorified Tyrod Taylor, where in the fact that like he's a decent starting quarterback, but you're not going to win anything with him. And then they've got Jacob Eason. Like it's just they've got so many like, okay, what do we do with this kind of puzzle pieces? But
What
yeah,
they could do is send a first-round pick and Philip Rivers to the Jets for Sam Darnold.
I think that would be okay. That would be actually really stupid if the Jets accepted that,
What if
but
they'd get a first-round pick and then you'd get Philip Rivers, whose contract comes off the book after this year, and you can cut him?
yeah.
I don't think they're going to get a first-round pick for Sam Darnold if they just trade him straight up. So I think you'd have to take some cap.
Yeah, and they could take some cap.
The problem with
Um,
that is that if you do trade for Philip Rivers, you run the risk of him being so competitive that he pulls a Ryan Fitzpatrick and he actually wins like 3 games for your team, and then you don't get the first overall pick, which would be devastating if they did trade Sam Darnold.
I
So
would just bench him at that point. Joe
I
Flacco.
trade for him and then bench him and start James Morgan or whoever your backup is. That also, we'll get to the Jets, but I have a lot. So next game, the Lions beat the Jaguars 34-16. Ryan, you're the captain of the Jaguars fan club. Actually, I think you relinquished that like 2 weeks ago, but they're now 1-5, and it looks more and more like that win against the Colts on week 1 was just
That was a fluke.
They're like the quietest 1-5 team, by the way. Like no one's talking about them getting the first overall pick. Where legitimately, if they did, like if the Jets somehow win a game, like they would take Trevor Lawrence. I don't think Minshew's the guy. I think Minshew's a game manager, and I don't think that's what you need to win in this league. Um,
Yeah.
and again, I think Detroit's kind of sucks. I think they beat up on bad teams. We did have a bit of a breakout from DeAndre Swift, 14 carries, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that's nice. Hopefully AP won't get to play as much, although AP still had more carries. He had 15 carries, Swift had 14. So
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's almost like you win more games when you don't run the ball down the throat of the 35-year-old running back. Like, dude, I'm still so mad at, like, Matt Patricia. Like, hey, I'm going to bench DeAndre Swift and on Johnson for this. Like, I can't talk about it. So I'm not captain of the Jags fan club anymore, but I'll still take my title as captain of the Lions fan club. And boy, oh boy, do the Lions suck. They have like the coolest roster on paper, but can't do anything in real life.
that's another team that I could see trading for Sam Darnold. I mean, they're not going to do it because they're terribly ran, but I wouldn't hate that trade.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. You got anything else on that game before I move on?
Nope.
All right. We got the Falcons. They beat the Vikings. They beat the crap out of the Vikings, 40-23. There's a big difference. This is my biggest takeaway from this. Atlanta was hyped because they fired their coach. They still stink. But one thing, this coach learned how to target Julio Jones because he had 10 targets, 8 catches, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. And this Viking team desperately needs a healthy Dalvin Cook because Alexander Madison is not it. And Justin Jefferson might win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he's been an absolute stud. But just taking a pause on that real quick. I mean, I don't know if you do this, but I get really excited just because I know that in the past few weeks we've talked about the underrepresentation in the coaching world of, people of color.
Yeah.
So when I see people like Romeo Crennel coming in and getting the Texans their first win and then taking the Titans to overtime, and then you see Raheem Morris come in and absolutely just beat the crap out of the Vikings, like, that was very encouraging for me, and I'm very excited to see, them get a shot at a head coaching role. So that was really cool. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, Atlanta was definitely hyped to get rid of Dan Quinn, and they took advantage of a Vikings team that's kind of rolling on 3 wheels right now. But
I mean,
I think
it's really like Dan Quinn was like, hey, we have this superstar wide receiver, but we're not going to throw him the ball ever. And then the second he gets fired, they're like, yeah, we're just going to throw it to Julio every single play. Basically.
Let your stars ball out, man. That's the key to –
the last time Julio had 2 touchdowns in one game.
I don't think Julio could either.
No, it's probably been years. Like, it wouldn't shock me if it was like 2016.
Well, I remember, like, last year it was like week 10, and I was like, hey, Julio Jones still doesn't have a touchdown this year.
Yeah.
Like, they so underutilized him with Dan Quinn, and it just didn't make sense.
This is Atlanta's first road win versus the Vikings since 2008.
What?
Yeah. They haven't beaten the Vikings in Minnesota since 2008. Also, there's so many bad teams in football this year. I'm looking at both these teams are 1-5, and then this next team, Washington football team and the Giants, are both 1-5. That's the next game we're going to talk about. But there's so many bad teams, and yet the Jets somehow find a way to be worse. I just don't understand. Okay, let's talk about this Giants game. Obviously, Daniel Jones, literally, he's 3-4 against Washington in his career. They're basically the only team he can beat in that division. And both of these teams are really bad. Washington, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they gave up on Haskins so early. It's kind of like they're trying to tank for Trevor at the same time. They're very confusing. The Giants seem like they're trying to win, but they are just terrible. And Daniel Jones has a serious turnover problem.
Did you see you saw the run?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the run. But I mean, for those that don't know, during Thursday Night Football against the Eagles, Daniel Jones had like an 89-yard run where he tripped over himself at the 10-yard line and got tackled before he could score a touchdown, which is hilarious in itself. But he just has a serious turnover problem. I think he had – how many fumbles did he have in this game? He had 2 fumbles against Washington. Like, I don't think there has been a game where he hasn't fumbled this year.
That's insane. I think Daniel Jones is what everyone thought Josh Allen was going to be.
1,000% yes. As someone that didn't trust Josh Allen, yes, I can confirm to you that that is exactly what I thought he was going to be. You got anything else on the Giants and the football team?
No, I like to continue pushing on, man. If we could just forget. But, I mean, honestly, the NFC East has disappointed me to, like, the utmost degree this year.
Right now, the Eagles are going to win this division at 6-9-1.
That happened with the Saints, like, about 6 or 7 years ago, too, right? Where, like, your division was just absolutely trash. And the Saints won with, like, 7 games.
I want to say, I think it was they were 7-9. Carolina was 6-10. The Bucks were like 5-11, and the Falcons might have been 6-10 too. It was like super, like anybody could have gotten in, and it literally depended on who won Week 17. And it was terrible. Yeah,
I think that was like 2012 or 2013, something like that.
The year before Ron Rivera got hired, I'm pretty sure. Because I think after that year, the Panthers won the division 3 years in a row, but I could be wrong on that. So next we got the Ravens barely beating the Eagles 30-28. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say. Somehow the Ravens are 5-1. It's strictly because of that defense. Let's see. How did our boy do this? How did Lamar? Lamar was 16 for 27 for 186 yards and one touchdown, but he had 9 rushes for 108 yards in the touchdown.
Hey, Alex, can I say it?
I mean,
do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know. It depends on what you're going to say.
Can I say that Josh Allen is the best quarterback out of the 2018 draft?
If he beats the Jets, yes. But if y'all lose to the Jets, then we got to reconsider.
Yeah, I agree with that. But this game, the Eagles versus the Ravens, the Battle of the Birds, this confirmed 2 things to me. Lamar Jackson is not the guy that we think he is, because this is a game that they should have ran away with, and that even the defense can't win them every game. But also that Carson Wentz is not the problem in Philadelphia. I don't know what is. Well, first off, yes, I do. It's injuries. Their entire medical staff needs to be fired yesterday. But Carson Wentz is still that guy. I think that if you actually get him with some good receivers and a healthy offensive line, he might surprise you.
Okay. Question for you. Who would you rather have? You're starting a franchise today. Carson Wentz or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson.
Okay. I was going to say, right. I mean, there's because they're basically on the same team, right? Like the Texans suck. They don't really have weapons. They have no offensive line, really. And the Eagles are on the same. And one is playing a lot better than the other. Granted, I think that Carson Wentz, kind of like you said, is having this exact same problem that Baker was having last year, where he's afraid now because his offensive line has sucked. So every play, he's looking at one guy. If that guy's not open, he's looking to make a play by running out of the pocket, even if the pocket is still formed. So
yeah.
I think that's causing a lot of issues. Up next, we got the Steelers. They beat the Browns 38-7. They beat the crap out of the Browns. Baker Mayfield left this game because of injury. He probably should have never even played in this game. He had broken ribs or something like that, and he was pummeled all day. And Chase Claypool's the real deal. Ryan called this like July of this year that Chase Claypool was going to be a beast. And so, yeah, he's not wrong. And I want to put some respect on these Steelers because they are quietly undefeated.
Yeah. I just want to say, if someone wants to hire me as their wide receiver guru, I would 100% take that job. Every wide receiver that I've seen like in the draft that I want the Bills to draft has turned out amazing.
Okay.
DK Metcalf, DJ Chark, Chase Claypool. I'm not ready to say that Brandon Ayuk is amazing yet, but he looks like a pretty
Okay,
good
well,
wide receiver.
relax. He can do end arounds, and that's pretty much it.
Hey,
I'm
well,
gonna
he's not developed yet.
I'm gonna call you
Um,
quickly because you did say that T. Higgins wasn't good, and he looks very good.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean he's looked good, but like of that wide receiver class,
I mean, true, you have hit on a lot of wide receivers, so and
Well,
you
like I just didn't like how high he was. Like, if they had him projected like in the second or third round, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But having him in like the early 20s over Claypool and Ayuk and a bunch of other guys, like I just didn't. I wasn't gonna take that because like, and I'll admit he has been playing like way better than I thought he would ever play, but there's just too much risk.
yeah, you can be the wide receiver guru, but your take on Trevor Lawrence is wild.
We'll see, man. Hey, man, you did the same with Burrow.
No, there's a difference. Burrow came out of nowhere after being a 2-year starter, basically, and he sucked his first year. Trevor Lawrence has been the guy since he was like 16.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you right now, he's the guy. All right.
I might have to eat some words this time next year, but until then,
1,000%. But
do not tank for Trevor.
we got the next we got the Titans. They beat the Texans 42-36. This was a sneaky shootout. Like this game started very slow, and then all of a sudden it was like, holy crap, everybody's scoring. Tennessee is now 5-0. They look really, really good, to be honest. Ryan Tannehill looked like all he needed to do was leave Adam Gase, and he has blossomed into a really good starting quarterback. I wish he would have left Adam Gase about 3 years before he actually did, because I know he's getting up there. He's like 30, I think. But other than that, yeah. You got anything?
I just would like to say this started out as the Titans trading for Tannehill as a backup quarterback.
Yep.
And now Tannehill's their guy. Also, Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. And the Texans should have won this game. I think towards the end of the game, the Texans got out-coached, and I hate the NFL overtime rules. This is bad. But, you know, great win for the Titans. I think the Titans are the real deal, and people can stop making fun of the Bills now because we've lost to two really good teams, but that's okay.
Also, I need to formally apologize to Derrick Henry because I need to put some respect on his name. This man is out here, probably the best running back in the NFL right now because, you know, CMC's in. But he's absolutely playing incredible. And the best thing for him is they don't have to put everything on him now. Like, I don't understand why they're still running it 35 times a game with him when you have Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown, who looks like he is going to be a superstar if he can stay healthy. I mean, that man is a giant, and he runs so fast. But you got anything else, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. And we also have to put respect on Jonnu Smith's name. He kind of came out of nowhere, but he's turning into like a legitimate tight end.
Starting on my fantasy team this week, so let's hope that goes well because we got Mark Andrews on bye. So next we got the Bucks actually blew out the Packers. They scored 38 unanswered on the Packers, so it was 38-10. Packers were up 10-0. Then Aaron Rodgers basically threw back-to-back interceptions. One was a pick six, and then the very next drive, another interception. And the Bucks, this kind of was a game where Brady was like, all right, look, we might not be the best team in the league, but we have to go out and assert our dominance on this team that's 4-0, and they absolutely did. I mean, Ronald Jones looks like the guy. I mean, he's ran for over 100 yards in 3 straight games. And this was just a game where it looked like Aaron Rodgers mentally got in his own head and couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this was like the surprise of the game or the week because I thought it was going to be like same score, just flip the teams. So I was very surprised. Yeah, I mean, this defense looks ridiculous. Todd Bowles is like I would not be surprised if Todd Bowles got another chance to be a head coach in the next year or two.
I think that would be a mistake. I think he is so much better as a defensive coordinator than a head coach.
I agree with that. I also but at the same time, after seeing how bad the Jets have been run, part of me wonders like how much of that badness was like really Todd Bowles and how much was it the management. I mean, I still think Todd Bowles did not run that Jets team the best, but still.
I feel like Todd Bowles needs to get a head coaching job and then hire somebody like a Joe Brady or a really good offensive coordinator to come with him. And then
Right.
he says, I'm going to do the defense. You handle the offense.
I
And
like that.
Worked out pretty well. Dang, we still got 5 games. All right, we'll try and go quick. 49ers beat the Rams 24-16. I don't know what to make of this 49ers team. They're just so banged up. I know Raheem Mostert just went on IR. Tevin Coleman's on IR. And then the Rams, they go as Jared Goff goes, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest crime to this season has been how injury riddled the 49ers have been, because I really wanted to see if they could like repeat, but like without Nick Bosa and like, I mean, they've been without Deebo Samuel for a few games, Jimmy G for a few games, Kittle for a few games, and now Mostert and Coleman for a few games. Like, I'm just like, how good would this team have been if they had everybody on the field? It's just, I don't know. I feel like they'd be like 6-0 right now.
I got another trade for you, Ryan. What if we send Jimmy Garoppolo and a first-round pick to the Jets for Sam Darnold?
I think, yeah, that's an automatic yes for both sides.
That's what I'm saying. See, dude, we just got to get Sam with a good coach. I feel like he still has the potential.
Sam, I honestly think, like, if you sub Sam out for Jimmy G, 49ers would have been the Super Bowl champions.
I agree. Also, crazy thing, Sam Darnold's younger than Joe Burrow. And he's been in the league for 3 years.
Joe Burrow's, like, awkwardly, like, really old.
I want to say he's like 24.
Yeah.
He's either 23 or 24. He's 23, but he turns 24 in December.
I really hope that the Jets don't move on from Darnold, but I feel like they're going to.
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked if Sam Darnold gets traded in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think trade deadline is after next week's games. It's like a week from Wednesday.
Next Thursday.
Is it this Thursday?
Whatever election day is. It's whatever election is. It's like 4 o'clock on election day.
Man, election day is gonna be lit.
Yeah, Twitter's gonna be amazing. So we got the Broncos. They beat the Patriots 18-12. Games I don't care about this week is this one. Cam Newton came back from COVID. He has no help. He's truly playing on a worse team than I think the Carolina Panthers were in 2015 when he took them to the Super Bowl. Like, it's just bad at this point. That's a team that needs to make a move if they're serious about contending for a wide receiver, because he has no hope.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm trying to think of like who we could. I mean, Julio, like we mentioned, but I think that would be too expensive.
I think the number two, the 2 targets I would look at are Jamison Crowder with the Jets and AJ Green with the Bengals.
Do you know what's really crazy? They could sign a free agent who's been a free agent for the entire season. Taylor Gabriel would make that team so much better.
Yeah, he would. He'd be a better version of Jameer Byrd. By the way, hang on, I'm pulling something up, but we'll continue. You got anything else for this game?
No. Go Broncos.
We got the Dolphins beating the Jets 24-0. Jets are obviously tanking for the first overall pick. Ryan should be nervous, though, because Sam Darnold's coming back to play the Bills, Just kidding. The Bills probably like 50. But, and like we kind of already talked about this game, obviously. Fitzpatrick has now been benched after the bye week. It's Tua time in Miami. You got anything else?
No, I've been impressed with how well coached this team has been, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is still playing at a high level. Although he was not the future, I still think that he's a good quarterback.
Would you be shocked if they tried to trade him?
Yes, because I think you brought up a really good point when we were talking about this earlier. I think the idea was so that like Fitz can like mentor Tua for like the rest of this year. So I'd be surprised if they traded him.
That's true. All All right, next we got the Cardinals. They beat the crap out of the Cowboys, 38-10. Now, Ryan, I need you to explain something to me because I'm pretty sure, and when you texted me your picks this week, I think you picked the Cowboys over the Cardinals. Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I thought
That was like the perfect answer. He just went, yeah, no.
so. My thought process behind that is like I felt like taking the Cowboys was already a hot take, obviously just with how like injury riddled they are. But I thought they were gonna switch the game plan up and like just run the hell out of Zeke. And I think they tried to do that, except he fumbled twice.
Yeah, I think that was
I did not anticipate like the Cardinals defense to just absolutely like just rip them to shreds. This Cardinals they like the Cowboys offense made the Cardinals defense look like the Legion of Boom. Like they looked ridiculous out there.
What's hilarious is that the Cardinals scored 38 points. Their offense wasn't that good. Like
No.
Kyler Murray was 9 for 24 for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you're
Also,
9 for 24, you shouldn't score 38 points.
yeah. Also, I just wanted to say that I think the Bills not re-signing Jordan Phillips was a huge mistake. I'd like to admit that right now. Paying Vernon Butler and Quentin Jefferson that money that we should have paid Jordan Phillips was not worth it. I'm very upset.
That truly sounded like you were very upset. So next we have, I think, the last game of the week, which I'll let Ryan take this one over. We have the Chiefs beating the Bills 26-17. Ryan, you go ahead, man.
There are some positives to take out of this game, man. Our defense got absolutely ridiculously beaten up by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But it's because afterwards the defense came out and was like, you know, we did our job because we were like preventing Patrick Mahomes from like just destroying us, which they did. Tyreek Hill had like 3 catches. Demarcus Robinson was the leading receiver with 60 yards. Like, we kept Mahomes in check. We just did not do a good job containing CHE or CEH, whatever he is. The defense has looked just out of its league, man. We're paying too much money on this defensive line to not get any pressure, especially against the Chiefs' offensive line, who was missing like 3 starters. Like, that hurt. Everyone wants to blame Josh Allen, and you know, the offense hasn't looked super great these last 2 weeks, but like, I'm still happy with how he's playing. But you know, I think that the Bills are still, you know, should be division leaders, should be black horse contender or dark horse contenders, because we were in it. We were in it till the very end, like up until like the last few minutes. Like, we were in that game. It was a 1-score game, and you know, we were close. We just didn't play as good as we should have. But you know, these are 2 really good teams that I think are gonna go far in the AFC East this year, or AFC this year.
Agree.
How do you feel about it as an outsider?
I agree. I think that this could easily be the AFC Championship game again. I think my glaring holes for the Bills, obviously I was at work during this game because it happened at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. Or
Yeah.
Was it Friday? No,
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Is that the Bills desperately need a running back that can actually run. Not like Devin Singletary is a good like 3rd down running back. He's not your every down running back, and Zach Moss isn't that either. And I think, like you said, they did what they were supposed to do, the defense. They just didn't expect Clyde Edwards to have 161 yards. Like,
Yeah.
he was just ripping off runs like there was no tomorrow, basically. So, all in all, I wouldn't be that discouraged. Plus, the Bills play the Jets this week, which is a get-right game. So, they should be perfectly fine. And I think that you shouldn't feel as bad as you do, Ryan, you know?
But I do.
Yeah, buddy. Also, trade rumor that I saw on Twitter this morning. Giants are getting calls on Evan Ingram and Golden Tate. The interested teams are the Bills, Patriots, Saints, and Panthers.
We're not interested in Golden Tate. We're definitely going after Evan Ingram, and that really excites me.
Carolina's going after also.
Okay, but you guys definitely need it more than us. Huh?
I would love Evan Ingram. Don't get me wrong, right? Here's the problem. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't throw to the tight end. But we don't need Golden Tate. So this rumor has to be leaning towards Evan Ingram if the Panthers are trading for one of them. Now, the Bills and Saints, I think they're trying to trade for Golden Tate. I mean, not the Bills, the Patriots and Saints. I think they're trying to trade for Golden Tate.
Absolutely.
And I think the Bills and Panthers are trying to trade for Evan Ingram.
If we get someone on the Giants, I want Dalvin Tomlinson. We need a defensive tackle, man. We're struggling.
I wouldn't be mad at him either on Carolina. But no, I think Evan Ingram would honestly help the Bills tremendously, bro. He's so fast. And if you use him right, he's basically another wide receiver. I think he would help.
I've been hanging on to the Dawson Knox train, but Dawson has disappointed me so much so this year. I can't back him anymore.
All right, well,
this will be cool.
A little break in between. Now we're going to go into week 7. We're going to make our picks here. Let me pull up my notepad so I can record our picks. All right. By the way, on the year, we're keeping our track of our records. Ryan is 37-32. I'm 44-25. We both had not the best week last week. You went 6-8. I went 8-6. The only games I believe we flip-flopped on was I took the Chiefs and I took the Cardinals.
Yeah, this strategy of picking the Bills every time is not.
I mean, it's good for me. I pick the Panthers every single time too. So, all right, let's get into it. So, week 7, the first game we have is the Lions are taking on the Falcons. This game is in Atlanta. I'm gonna take. I think this is a shootout, and I'm gonna take the.
This is rough. This is a hard one.
I want to know if Julio Jones is playing. I know he was listed. Yes, he is playing. Okay. And with no injury designation. All right, yeah, I'm taking the Falcons then. Yeah.
But is Hayden Hurst still hurt? I know he got hurt last game. I don't know if it was like a
Hayden Hurst.
And I'm really questioning my abilities to make these decisions if Hayden Hurst is the thing standing in my way. But
Hurst is playing, I think, according to CBS.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Falcons. I was trying to do the Lions, but it's just no. DeAndre Swift is gonna do it again. I'm going Lions in a close one, maybe even OT, but I'm taking Lions.
By the way, I think DeAndre Swift's not going to get a lot of touches this game. I think this is going to be a throwing shootout, but we'll see. By the way, the last 4 times these teams have played, 3 of those 4 times, the game has been decided by 7 points or less. Next, we got the Browns taking on the Bengals. Here's a question. Is Baker Mayfield playing in this game?
Yeah, that's honestly like the deciding factor for me.
Because I want to take the Bengals. Baker Mayfield had a great week of practice and expected to make a rebound after having his chest injury. That was 16 hours ago by NBC Sports.
This is the face of the guy that took the Browns in his Eliminator Challenge without even checking the health of Baker Mayfield.
This week or last week?
This week.
That's not there was probably better options, Ryan, but all right. I would have taken the Saints. No, I would have taken the Panthers because I think the Saints are going to lose.
That game's too up in the air for me.
Are you taking the Browns?
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns. I think it's going to be close, though. I think this is going to be 28-24.
I'm taking the Bengals. I just have a feeling.
Did you say you're going with the Bengals?
I am, yeah.
Damn, get you some.
I don't know why. I'm buying in on Joe Burrow now more than ever. Like, I'm starting to just get on the train, I'm running next to the track, so we're about to hop on, but we're not there. Up next, we got the Packers taking on the Texans. I'm going to go Packers, and I honestly think it might be in a blowout. I think they rebound heavy.
I was going to say the same thing. This is a get-right game if I ever saw one. This is going to be domination.
Also, one quick thing, because I meant to mention this when we talked about the Texans last time. Have you heard that all of their wide receivers and J.J. Watt are all in the trade block?
Mr. Bean, if you don't get on the phone and get that boy JJ in Buffalo yesterday, dude, oh my God. Could you imagine?
I'm shocked that the Steelers haven't called and just get all three wide.
Oh, that would be like the final form. Dude, oh my gosh.
That'd be incredible, honestly.
That defensive line could probably win them a Super Bowl.
Oh,
TJ Watt, JJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. Like, forget about it, man. No one is beating that. You can't run on that. You can't pass on that. Your best decision is just to punt every time you get the possession.
all right.
It's just,
So now we have the Panthers taking on the Saints. This game is in New Orleans. I'm going to let Ryan make his pick first.
Yeah, without Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, this game becomes a lot harder for the Saints.
Just do it. I know you want to take the Saints.
I kind of do.
Well, I just wrote them in for you. So is that your official pick?
Who are the Saints' corner? No, it's not. The Saints' defense is not good. I think that Robbie Anderson's going to have 100 yards. I think DJ Moore is going to have about 80. I think Teddy B might have his best game as a Saint. I think Carolina wins. I mean, Teddy B, wow, that was weird.
I got you.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, it's not like he hasn't played with the Saints before. Teddy B is going to have his best game for Carolina. This is a revenge game. I'm going with Carolina.
This is, by the way, Teddy Bridgewater's first ever game against a former team. I think Carolina wins, just because Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders are both out.
Has he never played the Vikings?
No, not on a different team.
Huh.
Wait, that's not – maybe it's the first game he started. I think NFL.com's got this wrong, because wasn't he on the Saints team that lost to the Minnesota Miracle?
No, he was on the Vikings then. That was his last year in the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
He was backing up Case.
All right, we got the Bills taking on the Jets. I'm just going to go ahead and write Bills in for both of us. There's not a chance. Although,
There really isn't. Don't do that.
take the Jets just to be fun.
I mean,
Because Ryan on Sunday, if they lose to the Jets, he might not be okay. So we're going to take the Bills.
okay, my thing is like, if this even gets to a shootout, like it comes
Right.
down to
Close. I'm going to have to call Angela and make sure you're okay.
yeah, that's probably for the best. But I mean, if this is a shootout, like we've got the better ammo, we've got the better arsenal, we've got Diggs and Beasley. Actually, John Brown is not playing, so we still have Gabriel Davis.
How about playing a high school team? You're not going to lose to the Jets.
I'm still scared, man. These last 2 weeks, you don't understand what these last 2 weeks have done to my confidence.
I mean, okay, you're not going to lose to the Jets. And if they do, all of Buffalo is going to be in a frenzy. All right, next up we got the Cowboys taking on the football team. This game is in Maryland, so Washington's the home team. God, talk about a game I do not care about at all. We're going to go –
Wait. So you say on top a game that no one cares about, but it's going to be the most televised because the NFC East is just the greatest division in the world.
I'm going to go Cowboys, and I don't feel good about it. Are you taking Cowboys or Washington? Yeah,
I want to take Washington, but I don't see a reason to.
just do it. Live a little.
Yeah, I'm taking football team.
All right. I like when our picks aren't the exact same. All right.
WFT, man.
Now we got the game that was supposed to be a 4 o'clock game. Now it's moved to Sunday night, which thank the Lord this game is the Sunday night game. We have the Cardinals taking on the Seahawks. This is one of the most exciting games of the week, I think. And with that being said, I am taking – there's our Cardinals.
What was supposed to be the Sunday night game?
The Patriots – or no, the – no, wait, what was the Sunday night? Oh, Bucks Raiders, but the whole entire Raiders offensive line has COVID, so that game's up in the air. So they had to move that game from the 8 o'clock window to the 4 o'clock window, and then they moved the Cardinals Seahawks from the 4 o'clock to the 8 o'clock.
I ain't mad at it.
Are you taking the Seahawks? I know you're gonna.
Yeah, man, they're coming off the bye, and although the Cardinals are riding high, this is Russ time. Especially like Russ thrives in prime time, and I think he's just gonna do it. He's gonna do it to him. 6-0.
Problem is that at the beginning of the season, I said the Seahawks were gonna suck, so they have to start losing at some point. Otherwise, I'm gonna look like really bad. So I'm just cheering against them at all possible outlooks. Probably not the best thing to do. I could probably just apologize, but it is what it is. So we got the Chiefs taking on the Broncos. Obviously, I'm taking the Chiefs. This game is in Denver, and also the Chiefs have won 9 straight games against the Denver Broncos. Now, thing to note, I believe Drew Lock is back.
That doesn't matter.
Just
This is gonna be a bad game. Well, I don't know because the Raiders made it close. I don't know.
Never mind, because I just Googled it, and the top headline that comes up is Broncos Drew Lock is embracing the Darth Vader villain role in Week 7 against rival Chiefs. The Chiefs
Yeah.
9,000. They're going to punish this kid. All right, we both have the Chiefs.
Also, whoever wrote that headline is fired.
Well, I can tell you that it is NFL.com. Not really sure who did it, but it's from NFL.com. Next, we got the 49ers taking on the Patriots. Jimmy Garoppolo's first return to New England since being traded.
49ers by 2 touchdowns.
Really, even without Mostert.
Yep. McKinnon is still that guy, though. They've got, 3 running back 1.5s.
By the way, Ryan, if you're in a fantasy league, you should look and see that has an IR spot. You should look and see if Tevin Coleman's sitting out there on waivers. Because Mostert just went on IR. Tevin Coleman comes back from IR, I believe, next week. And I just picked him up in my money league, and now he's sitting in my IR slot. Yeah, happy about it.
How are you doing in that league, by the way?
We're 4-2. We're in first place. We're looking good. We just traded for Dalvin Cook. We got we traded Josh Jacobs and Robert Woods for Dalvin Cook, and who was the other guy? I want to say it was A.J. Brown, but let me make sure.
Is Dalvin Cook supposed to be coming back soon?
Yeah, next week.
Oh, dope.
We traded Josh Jacobs and Robert Woods for Dalvin Cook and James Robinson, the Jacksonville running back. But yes, we're 4-2. We're in first place.
I don't hate that.
So next we have the Bucs taking on the Raiders. This game is up in the air, but I believe it's going to happen because the whole entire Raiders offensive line got COVID. I'm taking the Bucs by 1,000. But what do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, if you had asked me last week, I would say Raiders because the Raiders are playing really good football. Derek Carr is playing probably the best he's played since 2016 when he was almost an MVP.
Yeah.
But I think the COVID thing really got in the way, and the Bucs looked absolutely monstrous last week. So I want to take the Bucs.
All right.
But I really want to take the Raiders, but I just can't.
I just can't because the offensive line,
Yeah.
especially without Trent Brown, that's going to be tough.
Right.
Next we have – I think this is going to be a really good game. I wish this game got flexed to the game of the week at 4 o'clock. But Steelers versus the Titans.
Yeah, this one should have. They can't move this game any more than they already have, man.
That's true. Battles of the defenses.
You want to know a hot take?
Yeah.
Steelers, and it's not close.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Not even close. I think this is the first. Well, obviously, it's going to be the first loss for the Titans, but it's going to be bad. People are going to question if they're legit or not.
I'm taking the Titans.
Uh-oh.
I just think here's the thing. Devin Bush is out. He's done for the season for the Steelers. Their middle linebacker.
Yep.
They're going to be rotating in a guy that they took in the 5th round and a guy in Vince Williams who can't stop the pass. So I think Jono Smith streaking is going to be insane. And then I think Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. I just have a feeling. I think it's really, really close. Like I could see like 28, 27 almost. Like
You're assuming that Ryan Tannehill is actually going to get to throw the ball and not be sacked every play. I also think that like Derrick Henry's streak of like just absolutely destroying people ends today. Like I think he's going to have less than like 80 yards.
We'll see. I mean, again, I'm also just doing this because I like to have the opposite, so I have a team to cheer for. But yeah, you know. All right, next we got the Chargers taking on the Jaguars. This game is in SoFi Stadium, so the Chargers are the home team. I'm taking the Chargers by like 20.
Yep.
Glad we're both on the same page there.
I'm on the Herbert train now, which probably means that Herbert's going to suck and I'm going to have to hop off in 2 weeks. But because, you know, while I am the wide receiver guru, I am not the quarterback guru.
That's true.
I thought Minshew was the guy. He was not. So
I had all the stock in Jake Fromm, who shouldn't even be on the roster, if we're being honest.
He's been a hell of a COVID quarterback.
Well, they're having 2 games in SoFi Stadium 2 days apart or a day apart. So the Monday night game is the Rams versus the Bears, and it's also in SoFi Stadium. With that being said, I'm going to take the
I
Rams.
can't wait to see SoFi Stadium at like 4% capacity 2 days in a row.
It's going to be great. I'm taking the Rams.
Wait, Rams 49ers, is that what the game is? No, wait.
Rams Bears.
Oh. Nah.
You're taking Bears?
The Bears. I think that defense destroys Jimmy G.
See, but I think you mean Jared Goff.
I don't know why I keep trying to put the 49ers in this time slot. Yeah, I did mean Jim. I almost said it again. Dude.
I think it's the other way around. I think I think Aaron Donald eats. That being said, you got anything else before we wrap up this episode?
Nah, man, that's it from me. I'm gonna go try to understand what the Rams are and how they're not the 49ers.
Yeah, you know, my college team let me down last week, losing to Florida State. So, you know, I don't have a lot to cheer for this weekend. But hey, man, maybe the Panthers will win. You know.
You got NC State today, though.
Yeah,
right?
I'm very nervous about that game, Ryan. Very nervous.
You guys will do fine. Now I'm nervous to play Miami. We're actually gonna get ripped.
Yeah, I don't know about Virginia. They went from being really good to really bad.
We lost like half our team. We lost Bryce Perkins, Bryce Hall. Like we lost all our good seniors.
Got to rebuild. All right. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Don't forget to wear your masks and go vote, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Go vote and mask up.
Have a good weekend.